Throughout the last 55, 60 years, the range of a shotgun is considered about 60 yards. So you can look back at the Nilo, Pheasant lethality studies. Normally they go out to about 60 yards. There are a few that are farther. 60 yards would be considered the outside range for an ethical kill with a shotgun, with the right load and the right choke. Well, today I'm using a Fabarm Elos 2 Elite 5/10 factory choke. Got a target set up at 61 yards on the nose, laser verified, and I'm going to be using 1 ounce Apex loads. It's 20 gauge, 1 ounce of number 7.5 tungsten super shot. So we'll see how it does. I have my little colorful happy mallard target set up and a little surprise after that. So let's see how it does. It's cooled off quite a bit from when we were out here before patterning, and it is a little breezy. You've got a 10 to 15 mile an hour crosswind. But we'll see what happens. We can't really control the weather. All right, I'm going to go grab the paper, and aside from our happy little colorful mallard, we have a larger shoot and see that I've stapled to the back. So that's the little surprise. This should be a mind blower out of a 20 gauge. Not a high recoil load either. 1 ounce tungsten super shot, number 7.5. So even though we have a little breeze out here, here's our happy little mallard. How many hits do we have? We have, strictly in the torso, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we also have a broken wing. I'll show you the other side. Hopefully you can see that on camera. But at 61 yards, this is fantastic. I'm impressed. And it's only a Fabarm 5/10 choke, which is roughly a modified choke, just under 20 thousandths constriction. So, for those who don't think that the mallard target alone is representative, here's the shoot and see that we had directly behind our happy little mallard. You can take a look at it. This is just a fabulous pattern as far as I'm concerned. This is the back. You can look at all the raised pellet prints, but this is just fantastic. So if you showed this to somebody that had no idea it was at 61 yards, it would just blow their minds. So I'm impressed. Any mallard, any pheasant, any duck, that is going to be dead in the air. And that's what we want. We want them to drop dead. Sometimes when you're out in the weeds that are 8, 9 feet tall, if they don't drop dead, they can be tough to find, even with dogs. To give you an idea of what a pheasant body looks like, placed on the pattern. Placed on the pattern a little low, to the left, to the right, a little above, regardless. We're going to have half a dozen pellets in our little rubber pheasant at 61 yards. Really, really incredible. It sounds like I'm impressed, it's only because I am. So I am not suggesting that 60 yards is a typical shot by any means. Conditions are always different. We get a lot of runners out here. The smart pheasants, they don't like to fly, they just run. They'll run a mile, you'll never get a shot at them. But you're good to go well past 60 yards with this, which I think is phenomenal. And of course, a lot of pheasants right around, depending on the number of dogs, contingent on the number of hunters. Sometimes you can have one get up 2 or 3 feet behind you. I'll show you that right now. So it's variable. But it's all up to you. Only you know your own conditions. But if you want a 60-yard 20-gauge pheasant load, which as a bonus is low recoil, as you would expect from 1 ounce at 1350 feet per second, this is it. So I wanted to find out for myself, and for some of you folks, you like to call them early season pheasants, late season pheasants. Pheasants don't really pay attention to internet postings or what's written in gun magazines. That's for sure. So around here we get long shots early in the season and late in the season. But if you're talking about the end of December here in northern Illinois, first week of January, where the dumb birds have pretty much been shot down, you might be walking all day for one shot. This is the type of load I think you're going to want, because you may have one shot after walking 5-6 miles or more all day long. So it's all up to you, but yeah, I think this is the best long-range pheasant mallard load out of a 20 gauge I've ever tested by quite a bit. So I think they are custom order from Apex. It took me a long while to get a few samples here. But they are fabulous loads. Now, according to Apex, they get better distribution with buffered loads, anywhere from 10 to 30%, but it's contingent on the exact load that they've got. So somebody said the only thing consistent about shotguns and shotgun shells is that they are inconsistent, and that's about right. It varies a lot, a tremendous amount, based on your gun and your choke and your load. So what I'm getting here may or may not be reflective of your results exactly, but it's going to be pretty close. So, once again, 1 ounce, 7.5 tungsten super shot. I'll put the pellet count up, and not for everybody. But if you're shooting an over and under like this, it doesn't have to be the first shell. It can be shot number 2 where you really need it, which is one of the advantages of over and unders, is you've got 2 barrels and 2 chokes to work with if you choose. So you can go with your standard bismuth load, for example, which is a lot better than steel, and certainly more economical than tungsten super shot for shot number 1. If they all get up close, fine. You'll go through 0 tungsten shells in a day. But they get up at long range. If you're on the bird, so thanks for stopping by. But 60-yard pheasant loads, they've been doing it for longer than I've been alive. And right now, today, we've just got better guns and certainly better ammunition than anybody ever thought of 50, 60 years ago. So where some people would use extraordinarily heavy loads of buffered lead number 3 or lead number 4 to get anywhere close to this range, you can do it with 7.5 tungsten super shot. Fabulous.